Hello, this is the final video in the match series Arsenal against Newcastle, and this is the complete works. Away the lads, I'm Ken, this is Inside The Toon. Eddie Howe's held his press conference ahead of the game against Arsenal at tea time on Saturday, so let's see what he had to say, shall we? I'm Ken and this is Inside The Toon. Eddie started out by giving an update on Tino's injury. He went for a scan initially. We don't think it's a bad injury. We will have to wait and see whether he plays again this season. He is due to have another scan at the weekend to determine the full extent of his time out. He said it's been a frustrating season for Tino. Such a good season last year. He was outstanding, was fit and available, and really contributed to what we delivered. This year it's been difficult, but that's just the life of a footballer, said Eddie. On Anthony Gordon, he said he's not trained again this week, so he's not available. He said it's not a serious injury in time, but not in time for this game. Hopefully for the next one, Eddie added. Obviously, there's been more rumours this week, especially around Bayern Munich, who have expressed an interest in Anthony Gordon, according to the German press, talking about 75 million. And it's rumoured that Gordon is interested. So we'll going to have to wait and see, but there's no indication of any formal club-to-club agreement at this point in time. The saying goes, there's no gain without pain. Well, we're all feeling the pain at the moment, and we have for a few weeks, including Eddie, who said that in his press conference. He said it's been a difficult period for us. I think we are very determined to try and put that right. We will try to win as many games as we can between now and the end of the season. Priding ourselves historically, we lose a game, fighting to the end, give everything to try and get a result. The players feel currently lacking in a bit of confidence. We have lost a bit of our normal regular flow and rhythm. We have had an historical time. There's only one way to refine that, though, and that's through hard work and really good time on the training ground. Eddie said Newcastle must treat Arsenal away as a fresh chance to prove themselves again after a difficult spell. He pointed to the recent Chelsea win as the blueprint: attitude, spirit, togetherness, and total commitment. Howe admitted the poor run has felt longer because of the gaps between games. Newcastle need to reconnect with the performances where they showed their true level. It's definitely an opportunity for us, he said, and we owe it to everyone at the club and the supporters to commit ourselves and try and get a result, as we did at Chelsea. So Eddie explained why Big Nick's really not getting on the pitch at the moment. He said it's difficult. You have to reward the players for what they deliver. And at the moment, I've gone with a different option to Nick. There's no problem with his fitness. When he plays, he has to do the same and try to deliver the goals we need. And he was citing Osula, who's taken his opportunity with a couple of goals. And then prior to that, obviously Anthony Gordon when he was playing the false nine. So no issues with Nick. Just if he gets on, he needs to take his chance. And I'm fine with everybody scoring. But when we're letting them in at the other end, it's a different game, isn't it? So goals matter. Nick's waiting and he has to earn it. Eddie talked quite a bit about fine margins in the press conference today. Missed chances to double leads, followed by costly defensive lapses. The boss admits that too many narrow defeats have gone against us, and it's not an accident, but insists the team are not far away. In previous seasons, we had the narrow victories. This season is definitely not the case. 19 goals let in the last 15 minutes in matches this season. We need to swing it the other way, tighten the defence and hurt them when we got the one goal. Let's go and get the second goal. Eddie Howe says Newcastle have trained well again this week, but admits that has not translated into recent performances. After being pleased before Palace, only to see his side fall short. Eddie wants a far more coherent display at Arsenal. He insists the group spirit remains good, but the players are hurting after results. The message is clear: Newcastle must respond properly and deliver a performance for the supporters. Why, aye, man. Eddie was asked about Bruno, and obviously, Bruno is so important to us, and Eddie recognises that. He said he's back in full training. Says his energy, his leadership and quality could be massive for Newcastle ahead of the game against Arsenal. So he's been very pleased with him. It's been tough for him. I think you could see against Bournemouth that he came on with all the right intentions to deliver a good physical performance. But you could see that he was struggling at times physically to adapt to the pace because he's really had minimal training. But he's been playing on heart and spirit and determination. But the week he's had this week will serve him really well. Well, let's hope so. Come on, Bruno. And finally, Eddie was asked about his meeting with the PIF next week. Eddie explains it's just a regular thing that happens during the season, especially towards the end of the season. He's on the agenda along with the club training ground, the new ground, whatever that might be. And he says he looks forward to the meetings and he enjoys talking with the PIF. So let's hope it's a good outcome next week. I'm still Eddie in, and I want to see him get the chance to take us to another level. What a 4 years we've had. This year's not great in terms of how it's finishing, but the European run, FA Cup run, the run to the semi-final in the League Cup again. Eddie's the man. Thanks for watching. Next up will be the Matchday programme and predictions. And if you like this video, then hit the like button, subscribe, absolutely free. And if you're on TikTok, hit the follow button and like. I'm Ken and this is Inside The Toon. Newcastle take on Arsenal, Saturday tea time, 5:30 kickoff on Sky, and this is your Matchday programme from Inside The Toon. I'm Ken. Newcastle's recent Premier League record at the Emirates makes for tough reading. Across their last 5 league visits, the Magpies have taken just 1 point, scoring only once and conceding 10. The lone strike came through Joe Willock in the 4-1 defeat in 23-24 season, while Arsenal have largely controlled this fixture in North London. Newcastle did win there in the League Cup in 24-25, but in the Premier League terms, the Emirates has remained a major problem ground for the Magpies. Newcastle's last 6 Premier League results read horribly. 4 losses, 2 wins at 6 matches. Goals scored 8, goals conceded 9 in the Premier League. Home record in this run is 1 win, 3 defeats. Our away record is 1 win, 1 defeat. The big takeaway is pretty brutal. After back-to-back wins over Chelsea and Manchester United, Newcastle has slipped straight back into a losing run with defeats to the Mackhams, Palace and Bournemouth. Newcastle's form is turned unstable again, flashes of quality, but too many costly setbacks. Our form guide, the momentum and the pressure is rising. So it makes for tough reading. Eddie Howe's side has lost 4 of the last 6, including back-to-back home defeats. The mood and the momentum has disappeared again. And across the 6 matches, Newcastle have not been consistent. Right now, the big issue is stability, with too many setbacks stopping any real push forward. Arsenal head into this clash with mixed recent form as well. After putting together 4 straight Premier League wins against Tottenham, Chelsea, Brighton and Everton, they have stumbled with back-to-back defeats to Bournemouth and Manchester City. They still have taken 12 points from their last 6 league matches, scoring 11 goals and conceding 6. So the threat remains clear. Newcastle will know Arsenal are slightly wounded, but still dangerous enough to punish any lapses, especially given our record at the Emirates. So as of Thursday, Arsenal look to have injury dates rather than suspensions heading into this one. Saka, Timber, Calafiori have all recently reported as it has been indicated as being injured or doubtful. Newcastle, obviously Joe Linton is suspended. Anthony Gordon is injured for this week anyhow. Tino, Shah, Kraft, they're all long-term injuries now. So Anthony Gordon was a doubt, but Eddie's confirmed that in his press conference that he will miss the match. And there was no mention of Shah or Kraft. So Arsenal's concerns are mainly about whether key players can return in time. Newcastle's bigger issue is that Joe Linton is definitely out, while Gordon's availability looks uncertain post this match for the rest of the season, given the transfer noise around him. Is he another Isak? So the rumour mill's been in full force now for probably a month. Excuse me. The latest reporting says Bayern Munich are interested in Anthony Gordon. Newcastle would only really engage at about 75 million, apparently. And Gordon is said to be open to the move if it develops. The same reports frame Bayern as current front runners ahead of Liverpool and Arsenal, but there's no indication yet of any formal club-to-club agreement or even talks. It's rumour again. So this key bit for Newcastle is the price, in my view. Reports around this story are pretty consistent that Bayern valuation is lower than Newcastle. Surprise, surprise. With Newcastle holding out for roughly 75 million. Bayern are thought to prefer a cheaper deal. The gap looks like the main obstacle right now. So the read right now is serious interest, real noise, but still rumour stage rather than advanced deal stage. Newcastle are not being painted as desperate to sell. More is willing to talk only if the number is met. The league table doesn't look good. Having said that, Newcastle are still only 6 points away from a European spot. But with 5 games to go and Arsenal next, it's not looking likely in my eyes. I feel that we might win a couple, but whether our defensive frailties disappear and the costly mistakes that have helped us drop about 25 points this season will continue, none of us know. It really is now down to the players to react. Now having had, 3 weeks of full training under Eddie Howe in the coaching staff's guide. So will the Emirates curse continue? Obviously it probably will. And it's a test again. But we went away to Chelsea and we performed there, so why not Arsenal? If you enjoyed this video, then pop over and watch the Eddie Howe press conference review from Inside The Toon. I'm Ken. Enjoy. So that was your match day programme. Newcastle away to Arsenal. Next up will be the predictions video, and thank you for watching. Predictions for Arsenal against Newcastle, both the score and the team. I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Let's take a look at who I selected and what the score's going to be. I've stuck with Ramsdale at the back. A stat that I saw this week was that Pope's had about 9 clean sheets compared to Ramsdale's 1. However, Ramsdale's got the gloves at the moment, and I don't see the point in changing. Trippier obviously in because Livramento is out. And then we've got Hull, who's the other fullback. And then we've got Chow and Botman. Burn might get a shout. It really depends on what Eddie decides to do. Midfield with Joe Linton suspended. Then I've gone for Miley, Bruno and Tonali. And then up front with Gordon out injured again, not trained this week. Then Asula down the middle, Barnes on the wing instead of Gordon. And then I've plumped for Elanga. I think he can be exciting at the Emirates, depending on, like he was at Chelsea. Just depends how he feels on the day, no doubt. I don't really want to see Jacob Murphy. I thought he had a terrible match, unfortunately, against Bournemouth. And no, I don't want to see him. Great news that Bruno's back, and we'll see what happens, shall we? Big Nick's on the bench. As Eddie said in his press conference, if you play, you've got to score now. Sula's done that in the last 2 matches. Gordon did that previously. Barnes has scored quite a few goals, so I'm a bit perturbed that he's not had a couple of more chances in the last 2 games, but there you go. So that's my team. So let's hope we can do something at the Emirates. Although I think we will come out fighting, trying with spirit, and that we won't give up. I think Arsenal, after their 2 recent defeats and still wanting to win the title with Man City as their arch enemy, then I think Arsenal will win. I think we might get a goal, although only 1 goal in the last 6 matches in Premier League matches at the Emirates suggests not. If we do score, I've gone for Barnes, but Asula might creep in. You never know. He's hungry at the moment. But I think Arsenal will win. I think they'll get a couple of their set-piece type goals, either from long throw-ins, corners, free kicks. And obviously they can defend, whereas we, at the moment, are struggling to keep leads and to keep goals out at the other end in the last 15 minutes. So home advantage to Arsenal, Newcastle to fight, and if we get an unexpected result there like we did against Chelsea, fantastic. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I've also got out my matchday review and the Eddie Howe press conference video as well. All interesting stuff, far more detail than what I've just shared here in this video. But next up will be Eddie's actual team when it's announced later on Saturday afternoon. Away the lads. Eddie's announced his team to face Arsenal this evening, so let's take a look at it, shall we? I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Eddie Howe has named his team to face Arsenal in North London. 5:30 kickoff on Saturday evening, 25th of April. Pope is in goal. Nick Pope is back, and Ramsdale's on the bench. Then we have in defence, Botman, Chow, Burn. Midfield of Tonali, Willock, Bruno, Ramsey, Miley, and then Jacob Murphy and Asula up front. It could be a 3-5-1, to be honest, just with Asula up front. And then we've got on the bench Ramsdale, Trippier, Hall, Visser, Barnes, Elanga, Big Nick, Alex Murphy, and Neve. So he's rung the changes, different from what I expected. I guess Hall's not fit, and he's trying to give time to other players with Trippier on the bench, Big Nick and Barnes. Obviously, Barnes and Elanga are not getting any minutes at the moment. Barnes did score goals, but again, it's not happening, is it? So let's see what happens this evening. Eddie's hung his hat, and that's the team. Away the lads. So it's half time. Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0. Probably doesn't really reflect the fact that Newcastle's actually played well and have had 9 shots to Arsenal's 3. However, it was a great goal from Arsenal in the 9th minute. So let's see how the first half played out, shall we? Eddie Howe made 5 changes to the team. So we started with Pope in goal, Botman, Tonali, Chow, Asulla up front, Jacob Murphy on the wing, Willock back in the team, Byrne, Bruno as captain, first start since his injury in Feb, Ramsey, and then Miley at right back. So the formation, 4-5-1 maybe, with Asulla up front, Miley at right back, Byrne at left back. And in the first minute, Willock, great run, puts Asulla in. All he had to do was shoot, and his big toe on his left foot got to the ball first. Sorry, his big toe on his right foot got to the ball first, and he missed it with his left foot. It was a great opportunity. 3 minutes later, again, very close. Bruno shoots just over the bar. Really nice pass from Tonali, who set him up. It's great to see Tonali and Bruno back in midfield, playing together again. However, 2 short corners from Arsenal followed. The third one, did we learn from it? Probably not. Eze on the edge of the box, beautiful goal into the corner of the net. 1-0 to the Arsenal, and Pope didn't stand a chance on that. 16th minute, nice moves for Newcastle, ended with the ref giving a very soft foul for handball. So by the 20th minute, 57% of the possession so far the Toon. Arsenal looking nervous. They obviously can play a lot better than they are at the moment. Asulla is fouled on the edge of the box. Free kick to Newcastle, 23rd minute. Free kick comes in from Bruno, comes out. Ramsey attempts a volley, shoots, and it's wide. Nice run from Willock, who's playing well in the 28th minute, runs down the left, ends in a corner to Newcastle. And then 29th minute, from about 25 yards out, Tonali volleys, the keeper sees it late. Reyes stops it at the last minute, otherwise that one's going in. 31st minute, Willock is fouled after a shot by Rice, and the referee gives absolutely nothing. Havard goes off in the 33rd minute with a groin injury by the looks of it. 37th minute, a good ball in from Miley. Eventually comes out in a volley by Byrne, and it goes very, very wide. 40th minute, again, another free kick after a foul on Bruno. It's short to Tonali, who shoots, but it's immediately blocked. Newcastle have played well in this first half. How we measure this against Arsenal being quite timid and frightened at the moment of actually winning. I'm sure they've got extra gears, which if they produce, then they will score again, no doubt. But Newcastle, 9 shots to their 3 at the moment, 1-0 at half-time. if you look at the blue on the attack momentum, it's all Newcastle. And but our XG is just 0.33. Theirs is 0.08. But they got the goal. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Newcastle lost their 4th game in a row. This time against Arsenal, 1-0 away. From a positive point of view, I thought we played well today. We stifled Arsenal. Were Arsenal at their best? Absolutely not. Could they have done more? Yes, but they went for the 1-0, and it was just like the old chant, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Can we pick ourselves up next week against Brighton? Absolutely don't know. It really depends on the morale of the team. Bruno played his heart out, but was knackered by the time he was dragged off in about the 73rd, 5th minute. Big Nick came on, did a cameo for about 15 minutes, looked really good. Coming in from outside the box in the midfield area and attacking. Visser came on. He had a big miss, and you'll see that in my report coming up in a minute. So, yeah, some positives, but obviously, like most Newcastle fans, we don't like losing and we're struggling with it at the moment. The big however is that we've got 4 games left and the season's over. And will we get relegated? Mathematically we can, but I don't think we will. So this is your second half full-time whistle report from Inside The Toon. I'm Ken. 1-0 down at half-time. We played well, so go watch that video and see what you think. We really had chances in the first 3 minutes. So 50th minute, a good attack from Miley. I thought he's been playing well today. Composed as normal, classy. But it ended with an offside flag, which I did not understand. Late tackle by Bruno, given against Newcastle in the 55th minute. Burn is booked in the 57th minute for pulling the Arsenal forward back. He went down easily enough, but you get a yellow for touching these days. 59th minute, Botman is down holding his head after a kick to the head, which was a follow-through, most likely an accident. Bruno's fouled again. He continues to be fouled. The ref plays a very poor advantage. Nothing for Newcastle in that. Great defending by Chow in the 65th minute. Stops Rice in his tracks. Ramsey battled hard and I thought had a good game in midfield. 71st minute, Willock is fouled, booking for the Gunners. Pope runs out in the 74th minute, misses the ball, slips, turns his back to get back up to go to goal, and the Arsenal player goes over him. Ref gives a foul, books Pope. VAR looks at it for a sending off, and you could see, I think it was Botman that was back. So there was no way that was last man. Big Nick comes on in the 75th minute for Bruno, who's absolutely knackered. And creates a chance for Visser in the 79th minute, who unfortunately volleys over from about 6 yards out. Great chip and pass from Big Nick. Saka comes on in the 81st minute, shoots corner to Arsenal. Nice save from Pope there. Barnes crosses in the 83rd minute. Header from Burns straight into the arms of the keeper, sadly. Nice build-up play from Big Nick and Miley in that move. And Rice is booked eventually. Should have been booked earlier in the 86th minute for a foul on Dan Burn. Ilanga comes on for Willock, who had one of his better games for Newcastle this season, in my opinion. 87th minute, saved by the near post by Pope, corner to Arsenal. 92nd minute, 7 minutes added on, and Big Nick is fouled from behind, but no booking. easily, if you're going to book Dan Burn, you've got to book for these fouls as well. Gabriel, I think it was. 96-minute, Botman, Tonali and Miley have played well today. And we get a corner in the 96th minute, but it's a poor one, and it's cleared by the near post. 97th minute, foul, last free kick of the match. Tonali crosses, it's headed out, and the referee blows. Arsenal celebrate like they've won the league, but they're not there yet. So it's lucky Arsenal, 1-0. And they were really poor. We stifled them. I thought we played better than them today. You can only play against the team that comes out. So although they had a great bench, they didn't really use it to their advantage today. So looking at the stats, our XG was 0.91, so nearly a goal. Theirs was 0.64. Big chances to us, 2. Our shots was 13. There was 11 to them. 3 saves each, and corners went to Arsenal. You can see from the attacking momentum, we were in the second half, but we really didn't stretch Arsenal where it matters in the box. So Newcastle can forget Europe now with this defeat, I think. We remain 14th with 7 points off European spots. And I think it's a big summer coming up. It's transition out with some of the old and in with some of the new, I guess. So thanks for watching, and look out for the final word report in the next 24 hours or so. Newcastle lost 1-0 to Arsenal, and this is the final word report. I'm Ken, and this is Inside the Toon. Eddie Howe saw Newcastle's Arsenal defeat as a step forward, praising Bruno's control, improved defending, Big Nick's creativity, Visser's threat, and Burns' selection. And these are the things that we will talk about today in this video. Eddie Howe tried to strike a balance after the Arsenal defeat, frustrated by another loss, but clearly encouraged by the performance. The big message was that Newcastle looked more organised, more controlled, and more resilient, especially with Bruno back in midfield. Howe felt the defensive mentality was much better. Excuse me. He felt the defensive mentality was much better, but admitted the team are still stuck in the painful spell where even improved performances are not turning into results. Eddie Howe reacted after Newcastle's defeat away to Arsenal, and despite another painful result, the Magpie boss believes there are clear positives to take. Eddie praised Newcastle's improved defensive mentality, Bruno's influence on the ball, and the impact of Nick Voltemada and Johan Visser from the bench. He also explained why Dan Burn was preferred to Lewis Hall, pointing to Arsenal's height, physicality and threat. Is this really a step forward, or are Newcastle still stuck in the same cycle of narrow defeats? Johan Visser and Big Nick both performed well when they came on. Nick's creativity for Johan's chance, that's what he can do. He's a very special talent in that respect, said Eddie after the match. If Nick plays like he did today, he'll get loads more minutes and opportunities to impress. I was very pleased with him. We're in that moment where we're losing games even when we look stronger. We got to be resilient and find a way. Today's a big step forward. We need to make sure that not just attributed to the fact it was Arsenal away from home and the players are hyper alert to make sure we perform. We have to make sure that we have that for every game, Eddie concluded. Eddie went on to say this was much better from us as a group. There were positive signs that we've rediscovered our best defensive mentality. With Bruno back, we were more controlled and brave on the ball. The chances were there for us, but we cannot lose sight of the fact we lost too many games. I can't be too critical, though. I've been critical at times in recent weeks. We have to take the positives from this performance and know that we will ultimately change results. Eddie on preferring Dan Burn to Lewis Hall, he said, "It's always a difficult decision because Lewis is an outstanding player and you never for any second doubt his qualities and what he can bring to the team. But I felt today, for a number of reasons, that Dan was the right pick in the terms of height and physicality and dealing with Arsenal's threats. Dan's never let us down in that position. He plays it very differently to Lewis, but I thought that this was the right call for this game." So that concludes what Eddie had to say, and now we're going to look at some stats about the players that he picked and those that came on with cameo roles. And one of those was Big Nick. His number of touches were low, but high on creativity and value. In just 7 touches, he created one big chance, made one key pass, and registered 0.37 expected assists. He didn't attempt a shot, but his link play showed why Eddie called him a special talent. Newcastle needed a spark, and Big Nick offered one. The numbers suggest more minutes should follow if Howe wants extra invention in the final third. So it was a good cameo from Nick. His little lob to Visser, and Visser missed, obviously, was fantastic. And it's what he brings to the team. It's just whether he can do that over 90 minutes. Now let's talk about Johan Visser's cameo role in stats. Obviously, it was a big moment and it was a big miss. It would have equalised for us late on in the game. And the XG was a 0.56. So it was over 50% of the fact that he should have put it in the net. As it was, he volleyed high and wide over the bar. So it was one huge position against Arsenal for Johan, but the final touch deserted him. Energetic cameo otherwise, but wasteful in the key moments. So it's a real shame, He tried to pass 4 times and was unsuccessful. He did win 2 out of 3 aerial duels, which is good. So he had the chance was there, the finish wasn't. And he blew it basically, sadly. There is a player in there. He did it at Brentford. If he stays and he's here next season and he's had the summer training, then let's see if he can refine that form. If there's 15 or 20 goals in him, we're a vastly different team. But we're going to have to wait and see. Lewis was asked to play at full-back today, and boy, did he do well. I did hear some comments in various commentaries that he didn't have a good game, but these stats actually suggest otherwise. 52 out of 52 passes completed successfully, 100%, including 30 out of 30 in Arsenal's half, is seriously clean for a young midfielder in a tough away game. Lewis produced a remarkably composed midfield display against Arsenal, completing all of his passes, 2 interceptions, 4 recoveries, and strong aerial work. He wasn't flashy, but he was controlled. He is mature and he's reliable, and he's one of our own, and he's young. He's definitely here for the long term. No way should we be selling him just because PSR or SCR, whatever, dictates that we need that money. As always, I show what other YouTubers are saying after the match. And obviously, like myself, hugely disappointed that we're in this awful run, and we could even end up 17th at the end of the season the way it's going, and it will be our worst Premier League result for over a decade. Keith Downey from Sky Sports was impressed with Big Nick, and even Visser to his response, as was Craig Hope. But the Newcastle YouTubers that posted afterwards, and a few didn't, by the way, Toon Review, Newcastle Fans TV, Paulie TV, and obviously my friend at the top, and I forgot his name now, Matt. So another defeat. I want him out, I think Matt said, in what went wrong, said Paul. And Paulie said, Eddie Howe is clueless. And Paulie says, everybody has an opinion, and there's no right and wrong. You just have to accept we're all Newcastle fans and we all want the same thing. We just want it done, maybe by a different manager. At the moment, I want Eddie to see the season out. I want to see the players that come and go. I want one more season of Eddie at the moment, and we'll see where we go from there. So finishing up, let's have a quick look at the stats. Obviously, Newcastle can forget Europe now with this defeat. I think we remain 14th after Saturday night, and we're 7 points off European spots. We play Brighton, who are going for a Champions League or at least Europa League spot, and they're only 6 points ahead of us. So we're only 3 points behind them. It's a strange season as far as the table is concerned. We did go XG of 0.91, so there was a goal in there. Obviously, Asula's at the beginning, Visser's volley, and Dan Burns' header at the end as well. So 2 real big chances, 13 shots, 3 saves by their goalie, and a couple of corners, which is again quite low for Newcastle. So next up is Brighton at home next Saturday to look forward to, and hopefully we will win. But thank you for watching. Appreciate it. If you did get to the end, well done. And there's more of this to come. Like I say, Brighton next. If there's anything relevant in the week, then obviously I'll report it. But if it's just a rumour, of which there's hundreds, then you won't hear from me. I'm Ken. This is Inside the Toon. Away the lads.